Okay, yogis, welcome to practice, and hope everyone is well. I am in a new location in terms of where I'm resting my head. And, the generosity of my friends has been amazing. So just super grateful for that, and thinking about uh, as I prepare to go out on this trip with kids and the things that I've been preparing for them. One of the questions that I always ask the kids is what can you give to your performance? So I think we have a tendency to, as human beings, to think that we're owed things, that life owes us, that things should always be perfect for us or easy for us. And what do I receive? And even in the act of climbing, which is the trip we're going on, what am I getting from this, right? So the question I asked them on Friday was, what are you going to be willing to give to your performance? Whether it's your climbing performance, your performance at school, performance in your community. So what can you give this morning to your performance, to your learning? So remember that performance is always something we've already done. And learning requires us to go to the unknown. And even in our practice of yoga, where we do a regular, many things the same, we're on the mat every day or every other day, or we've done it for years. Can there be a new place, a opportunity to learn? And sometimes that means really letting go. Sometimes it might mean following my guidance. And sometimes it might mean letting go of that and really just exploring in your own body. So that that willingness to go someplace new is going to give us a learning experience. And maybe that's what we give. Maybe we give the willingness to go someplace new. All right, well, we'll start with something familiar. We'll start on our backs and just allow, props for today, a block or two if you have those, and a strap. So we'll start on our backs. And take a yawn and just allow your body to reach and stretch and do whatever it's going to do on its own. If you've got a lot of space, you can move side to side. And just take a few minutes to explore. And in this exploration, maybe you're willing to find a new way of moving, or let your body inform you of a new way of moving. And that could be what you give to your practice this morning. Just a few minutes here in this exploration, scanning, giving mode. And then stretch your legs long and stretch your arms overhead. You could interlace your fingers here if that works in your body, and press through both heels. Slowly release your fingers and let your arms just float down Float down to your sides. And take your heels over to the right. And now take your right heel on top of your right ankle on top of your left. And maybe even aim your toes to the right as you do that. And then arms behind you, sweep over to the right. Keep your left hip down on the floor. And take a few breaths as you soften into your left side body. Just allow your left side body to soften. You might feel a little contraction on the right side body. Just slowly, slowly, slowly. Let your left shoulder reach down towards the floor. It might not be touching. And then release the stacking of your legs. Come back to the neutral position. Reach through both heels, toes pulled back towards your shins. Reach your arms overhead. And then let your arms float down to your sides so you can relax your feet. Okay, both heels over to the left. Oh, stick your side for me for sure. And then left ankle on top of right. And then kind of point your toes over to the left. Right sit bone, right hip stays on the floor. Sweep your arms over to the left. Can you really let everything just relax as much as possible? Right shoulder blade, fully relaxed. Even your toes, can you let your toes be soft here? That might be the new thing for you, not gripping your feet. All right. And then we'll unwind. Legs in Tadasana, toes back towards the shins. Reach the arms overhead, reach the heels away. And then let your arms just float down to your sides. Okay. Bring your arms out to a T, bring your feet, soles of your feet to the floor as wide as the edges of your mat. And let's just begin with some cat-cow. You can begin, or some pelvic tilting, but begin either at your lumbar spine, sacrum area, or begin at the middle of your back, your thoracic spine. Maybe an exploration for you or a giving to you, or giving in your practice would be doing something where you have some stickiness, but you're not necessarily always willing to start with that. You'd rather eat dessert first. But wherever you start, pay attention to the follow through. And as you continue, pubic bone away from navel, low back off the floor, then rounding or pressing your low back into the floor, pubic bone towards navel. What happens up in your cervical spine? For me, as I draw the pelvis anteriorly or forward, that's a tuck of the chin. And then when I do the posterior tuck of my pelvis, my chin wants to lift towards the ceiling. That's my follow through. So can you map? The brain wants to always be mapping the movement, especially with places we can't see, like our back body. So what's happening in the back body as you do the pelvic tilting? Now, the next time you draw your pubic bone away from your navel, chuck your chin in, can you internally rotate the arms so palms come down to the floor? And then as you posteriorly press your low back into the floor, and the chin comes up towards the ceiling. Externally rotate your arms. So there's a internal rotation as you arch your back away from the floor, chin into chest. And as you press your back into the floor, external rotation. So your palms are kind of pointing back towards the back of the room, the space behind you. Okay, so put everything all together. Let your body just take over here. And maybe you could even add some movement in your feet. And just come to settling. And a little windshield wiper movement back and forth with the knees. And again, we've done this for a couple of weeks now. You can take the full side to side. As you come to one side, the outside edge of that foot stays planted on the floor. The inside edge of the other foot stays planted on the floor. Right? So the soles of the feet lift off the floor. Or you could keep the soles of your feet on the floor, adding a constraint and just feeling the difference. I would advise, or I would invite you to do both to feel the difference, just to feel the difference. And then we'll come back to the starting position of comfort. Let's bring the knees over our hips and just a little side to side rocking. You could cross at the ankles. And then add some circles. And then legs up towards the ceiling. So having a kind of a 90-degree shape with your body, legs as vertical as possible, and then just flexing through the ankles, flex and extend. Add the toes, so you might spread the toes as you point your toes, or extend at the ankles, spread the toes wide, and then you can pull the toes back towards the shins as you flex there. So just spreading the toes, working the toes with the ankles. I got some creaking going on in my ankles this morning. And then neutral with the feet, and take the big toes and draw the big toes away. So the 8 other toes, if that's what you've got, 10 toes, they stay neutral, and you press the big toe away, and then see if you can press the 8 toes away. Index toe, middle toe, ring toe, pinky toe, and then press the big toe away. It's kind of hard to see, I know, but I think most of you that take classes with me, we've done this before. We're isolating the big toes, and then we're pulling the big toes back towards us as we press the other 8 toes away. Then relax, and let's just invert the feet. So soles of the feet come towards one another as if you're going to do a namaste with your feet, and then turn the feet, soles out. So in and out. Good. And then back in, knees into the chest. Take a few rounds of breath just to settle. Let your back really be wide. Your low back especially sort of melt into the floor. Then we'll cross right leg over left leg, interlace hands behind our head. So the left leg is both feet are hovering. Okay, right leg over left, and hands behind your head, interlace behind your head if possible. Inhale here, and on exhale, bring your knees and your elbows towards one another. Inhale, come back. Exhale, bring your elbows together, lift your head and shoulders, and reach your left heel towards the floor. Inhale, bring your elbows back to the floor, stack your knees over your chest. Exhale, bring your knees and your elbows towards one another, so crunchy. Inhale, elbows back to the floor, stack knees. Exhale, bring your elbows together, but stretch the legs out, touch your left heel to the floor. Inhale, back to the starting position. Exhale, elbows together and knees and elbows towards one another, crunchy. Inhale, elbows to the floor. Exhale, squeeze the elbows together, lift head and shoulders, and reach your left heel out towards the floor. Inhale. Exhale, the crunchy. Inhale. Exhale, elbows in towards one another, lift head and shoulders, reach left heel out towards the floor for 3, 2, 1. Now just unwind the legs here and unwind the arms and come into a Shavasana shape and take one full breath. And then we'll slide the feet back in place, wrap the left knee over the right and stack your knees over your chest. Interlace your hands behind your head in the opposite orientation. So the unfamiliar grip. Okay, so that's something we can always give to our practice. Doing the unfamiliar, exploring the unfamiliar. Inhale here, exhale. Knees and elbows towards one another. Inhale, open up. Exhale, elbows towards one another, lift head and shoulders, but reach the right heel out towards the floor, just tap it, and then come back to the starting position. This is an inhale, exhale, the crunchy. Inhale, back to the starting position. Exhale, elbows together, head and shoulders off the floor. Reach your right heel out towards the floor. Inhale. Exhale, the crunchy. Inhale, come back to the floor. Exhale, elbows together, lift the head and shoulders, reach the right heel out towards the floor. Inhale, starting position. Exhale, the crunchy. Inhale, elbows to the floor. Exhale, elbows together, lift head and shoulders, reach the right heel out to the floor for 3, 2, 1, and slide the legs long, arms to your sides or out in a T, Shavasana, 1 full breath. Okay, then from here, we'll roll to our side body, stacking the knees and stacking the arms. So here you might want to have something underneath your head, a blanket or a pillow. I'm gonna grab this second yoga mat, just a little more comfortable, okay? And then stacking the arms, stacking the hands on one another. This is the starting position, and we're just gonna reach the right hand, I'm on my right side body, so my left hand reaches beyond my right hand, and then I slide that back. So we're just opening up some space in the shoulder girdle. We start here with the arms just right out from the shoulders. And hopefully you have a pillow. The yoga mat isn't as comfortable, but that's okay. Okay, and we'll do a few of these, maybe 6 to 8 in this position, and then we'll take the arms up at an angle. Same thing, slide your top hand past your bottom hand, whatever side you're on. Slide your top hand past your bottom hand. That, for me, feels like the inhale. And then exhale back to the starting position. So whatever way you make that work, inhale and exhale, just match your breath and your movement. Again, 6 to 8. And then the arms come down. So at an angle down, slide and come back. Now, as we do this, okay, this is somewhat familiar. We've done it a couple of times the last month or so. Where is the follow through? So obviously this is an opening in the shoulders, upper back, but where else might have some follow through movement? Great, then we come back to the first position, and now stack your knees. Your arms can just be relaxed here, and slide the top knee beyond the bottom knee and come back. Slide the top knee beyond the bottom knee and come back. Slide the top knee past the bottom knee and return. Okay, just a few rounds here. The hands can be just in any position that helps you kind of balance here. Now slide the top knee back so that your top hip is reaching back, and then come back to the starting position. Slide the top knee back. So your whole hip, the hip that's on top here in the stack, is going to slide back. Okay. It's going to slide back. Great, then stack your knees, stack your arms, and now reach the top hand just beyond the bottom hand as you slide the top knee back, or the hip back. Come back to the starting position. There won't be as much movement now. Top hip reaches back, top hand reaches forward. Come back to center. Good. Now let the top knee go past the bottom knee. And just your hands, see what happens with your hands and your shoulders, and then come back. Now we're just working a little twisting action. Great. And last one. Good. Now, from here, let's just take the top hand and open up into a twist. You can scoot your pillow out of the way for a sec. If it's too much, too early, just slide the knees down a little bit away from that more perpendicular orientation to your body. Just slide the knees down. And then 2 rounds of breath here. See if you can soften something somewhere. Great. And then inhale, reach the hands together again. And then just straighten out your legs and come right onto your belly. Come right to your belly. Make a little pillow with your hands and stack your forehead on that pillow. Inhale, just press up. And exhale, come back down. Just a baby back bend to start. So let's do maybe 12 lifts like that. Just take my jacket off. So 12 baby back bends, stacking your hands and then stacking your forehead on your hands. And lifting up. Lowering down. Pressing up. And releasing down. Match your breath with your movement, breath a little bit longer than the movement, just to contain the movement. The next time you release your head down to the floor, let your arms come beside your body and just rest your forehead on the floor if that's comfortable for you. If not, you can turn your head to one side. And then we'll inhale, reach the hands up, palms towards the ceiling, shoulders off the floor. Then lift your chest, lift your gaze just out over the end of your mat. And press for 3, 2, 1. Sweep the right hand forward and lift the left leg. Come back to the starting position. Both hands lifted, head and chest lifted. Then sweep the left hand forward and reach and lift the right leg, sorry. Good, then come back to the starting position, both feet on the ground, head and chest lifted, hands lifted, reaching palms towards the ceiling. Sweep the right hand forward, palm in, and lift the left leg. Come back to the starting position, sweep the left hand forward, palm in, lift the right leg. Back to starting position, palms are pressing up towards the ceiling. Can you lift a little higher? Sweep the right arm forward, palm in, left leg. Back to the starting position. Sweep the left hand forward, palm in, lift the right leg. And then come back and make the little pillow, releasing forehead to pillow. Or you can come with one side of your head to the floor and go to the other side. Give each side a little bit of time as you softly rock your hips back and forth. Great, and then we'll come back to the center. Let's make the little pillow again, and you can rest forehead on pillow. And let's see where the hamstrings are this morning. So bend your knees. Bend your knees so that your soles of your feet are reaching right up towards the ceiling. So the lower legs are perpendicular to the floor. And then press the right sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. And back down. And then the left sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. And back down. So we just go right to left. A few reps here. And as you do this work, where else do you feel this? I mean, there's some obvious places, right? And you can even identify, you can take your hand as you lift one leg, you should feel right at the lower butt muscles, you should feel some engagement there, the hamstring working. And you probably feel this in your back. So do an even number now. Good, and then slowly lower your legs to the floor. And now we'll roll to the other side. Just going to shift around. roll to the other side with the knees stacked and the arms stacked, and you'll need your little pillow or your extremely uncomfortable yoga mat pillow. All right, so now you're on the second side. Slide the top hand past the bottom hand back to the starting position. Oh, maybe you can even take it the other way. We can do that on the other side, did we? Slide past the top hand and then back across. Yeah, I missed that there really. And I'm just letting my knees do what they do right now. But I'm going to constrain a bit, have my knees constrained as I slide past my bottom hand. And then I'm going to take just a few the other direction. So slide my top hand along my inside my forearm. Try to keep the arm straight through this whole thing. Don't bend your elbow. All right, so there we go. So we missed this on the other side. So if you wanted to revisit this, there's going in both directions. Great. Now the arms at an angle up, slide past. And maybe do 6 reps where you're sliding the top hand past the bottom hand. And then 6 reps where you're sliding the top hand along your forearm. Keep the top arm straight if possible. This is just a really intentional way of warming up through the shoulders and the spine. This is what we put this in the somatic work, right? Feel this from a really unique perspective of you. Then the arms come down. Slide the top hand past. Your head will probably roll with that. Slide top hand past bottom hand. And then we slide along the forearm. Keep the top arm straight. Try not to be overly anxious to bend that top arm, like, because you're going to go further, something along those lines. Great, then we'll just come back to relaxed arms. We'll slide the top knee past the bottom knee. So beyond the bottom knee, sliding beyond. Maybe you noticed that this side was different than the other side. Then we slide the top knee away, so the top hip comes back in space, and then away. And then you can go beyond, back to stacking, and then top hip back. So go in both directions. Maybe this side is a little different than the other side. Probably is the case. Okay, and then we'll stack the knees, stack the hands, slide the top hand beyond the bottom hand as you slide the top knee back in space, so hip back. And then return. We'll do that direction a couple of times. Slide top hand beyond bottom hand and hip back. And back. My knees aren't just sliding without my pants on. well, I've got pants off, but you know, I've got my bare skin. Slide the top hand and the knee back. And then return. One more time in this direction. Okay. Then this time we slide the knee, the top knee goes beyond the bottom knee as we slide and this feels so much more awkward to me. Top knee goes forward and the top hand slides onto the forearm. So there's my gift, right? I can just explore why it feels awkward. Or just be with that feeling. Great. Okay, then we open up the top arm. You can move your pillow out of the way if you need to. Open up the top arm, come into a twist again. If it's a little soon for the big twist, just draw the knees a little bit away from the core of your body. And then let's come right back to our back. You'll need your strap now. Take your strap in your left foot, sole of your left foot. And let's open up into Supta Padangusthasana. Right knee can stay bent. And here, maybe you come all the way to the floor with that leg, maybe you have a little bend in your elbow and you have a kickstand like action, but find a spot that feels appropriate for you in your body. And I like to kind of play with releasing my hand, letting the strap lengthen a little bit, and then just play kind of in my hip here. Sort of rocking my leg back and forth or up and down towards both short ends of my sticky mat. Good. Then I get to bring my leg up and come across midline into a twist. Just arrange your bottom leg in any way. And inhale back up to center. And then with the sole of the right foot on the floor, just bend through the left knee, bring it towards your outer ribs and back. So just a really gentle movement, flexion and extension in the hip, the knee. Then that leg comes to the ceiling. Let's put both feet in the strap here. And you can even wind up the strap in your hands and just really get a good tug on the strap as you press your feet into the strap. So we should feel some opening behind the knees, in the hamstrings. Yeah. Great, then slip the left leg out. We'll take the right leg only in the strap. Scooch away from the wall a bit here. Then we'll open up into Supta Padangusthasana on this side. Oh, I'm going to rest I've got a nice wall space here. Most of us will want this other leg bent just to keep the sacrum happy, but maybe your other leg can go long. And then if you're into it again, you can just get a little more length in your strap and do some, I don't know, just a little movement in your hip. With your legs straight, maybe with some circling. And inhale, right leg comes back up towards the ceiling. Take the strap in your left hand, Come across your midline. And then back up. Strap in the right hand, and we'll flex and extend through the knee and the hip as you bring your right knee in towards your right side ribs. Then both feet back into the strap. And let's bring our arms all the way down to the floor. So elbows bent. So, and you're not going to wrap up the strap. Now I really want you to feel your bicep get a little engagement. So elbows are bent, press feet into the strap, pull back against your feet, pull on the strap, and feel a little contraction in your biceps. Front of the arm. All right, then you can decide where you want the strap. We're going to rock up to a seat. We're going to use the strap as a constraint. Play here until you can come up kind of into some version of Navasana, a boat with the strap, just holding on to the strap. Great. And then allow your legs to come down to the floor. Take the strap, keep the strap handy because we're going to be with it here shortly again, and just come into a seat. Beautiful. Take just a couple of rounds of breath to see where you are, see how you feel. So close your eyes down, excuse me, and feel your sit bones on the floor, spine long. What feelings do you have right now? You feel light, heavy, sleepy, and then just slowly and very, very, very small circular motion through your pelvic bowl. Just begin to, as if you were going around, your sit bones were like a coin, all right? They are pretty round, but go just around the edge of your sit bones, outlining the edge of your sit bones. And then come to center and inhale, draw your pelvis into a forward tilt, and exhale, round your back, bring your chin into your chest. So cat-cows, seated cat-cows, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Great. From here, we come to our knees, and we're going to take the toes, turn the toes under, and come into the broken toe pose. So toes are under, resting on your hands, or some of us could have the hips on the heels. So a pretty challenging pose for me and my feet. So here we go, just sticking with this. Opening the bottom, the soles of the feet up. Hang around here. So now we'll take the strap and you can stand up on your knees. Keep the toes turned under. stand up on your knees, take your strap behind your back, palms face in, breaking the strap apart and pulling your arms off your body. So toes are turned under, it's not as intense on the feet, but we're still stretching that plantar fascia. And now palms in on the strap. Try to break the strap apart and lift your arms off your back. And then we'll fold forward. Let gravity help you take the arms up. Press yourself up. Take a few dips like that. So as you fold forward, draw the navel up and in. And press yourself up. Good. Then we'll keep the standing on the knees, but take the tops of the feet to the floor. And now take your strap above your head. So the tops of the feet are on the floor. And then just move the strap from one side to the other. Feel a nice opening in the armpit, inner armpit, outer armpit. Then from here, we'll go to the Gomukhasana arms. I'm just going to back up to you. So we'll take the right hand, let the left hand be loose, take the right hand behind your head, turn the left hand palm out and grab the strap, and then pull. So the right hand, the top hand, the palm is facing in, and the bottom hand, the palm is facing out. Just give a good tug. You could play around with creeping the hands a little closer to one another, but make sure that the left shoulder, the bottom hand, make sure that shoulder is not super flexed and forward. And release the strap, take it in both hands again. You get to use your proprioception and your brain mapping because you don't have your eyes on it necessarily. Then we'll bring the left hand behind our head, bending the left elbow, release the strap with the right hand, and then grab the strap again, right palm out, left palm in, right palm out. And notice the difference in the two sides. A little tug. You could creep the hands closer together, but notice as you do that, if the right shoulder wants to flex forward, pitch forward. So especially if you're right-handed, you want to really open up that side, that shoulder, really get that shoulder more in extension. For 3, 2, 1, then release. You'll release the strap completely. Stay standing on your knees. Okay, and we'll inhale, sweep the arms up so the shoulders go through their full range of motion. And exhale, fold, reach the hands out in front, come into sort of a kind of a crouchy position, not all the way into child's pose. And then inhale, as you draw your hands back towards your body, sweep the palms out, up towards one another. Exhale, palms down towards the floor as you reach your hands out. Slide your hands back, inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold, reach your arms out in front of you. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then exhale, fold, and reach the hands out in front and find table. Great. let's rock the body around side to side. So you feel some weighting of your wrists. Then bring the fingertips to point out towards the edges of your mat. Out towards the edges of your mat. And you can continue to rock around. This might feel a little weird. Might bring up some new sensation in your hands. Good. Then come back to the beginning, but take the right hand, back of your hand to the floor. Sit back. Much as possible. Don't put too much weight on the back of your hand there. And then turn your palm towards the floor. Press the floor away. Try to drag the floor away as you lean back. Right hand back to the floor. Back of the left hand to the floor. Lean back as much as is tolerable. Then fingertips towards down into the floor. Stretch through your palmar fascia. And lean back. And you'll feel this in your forearm as well. Good. And then both hands back to the floor. You're back in your table. Turn your toes under. See if you can get all 10 toes under. And lift the knees to hover. Press your legs straight to downward dog. Inhale, come to hover. Exhale, hips back and straighten the legs to downward dog. Inhale, come forward to hover. Straighten the legs, come towards downward dog. Come to hover. And then drop your knees to the floor. Inhale, reach the right arm up in a twist. And exhale, come underneath the left arm, reaching towards the left, but not settling. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. Exhale, come underneath the left arm and reach. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale. So just make this about 6 vinyasas before you finally let the right back of the right hand come to the floor, and you can rest your head on the floor. Left arm can be out in front. It can be resting on your sacrum. Or it can be, you can reach around for your right inner thigh in a bind. And take 2 rounds of breath here. Good, then left hand comes back to the floor, press yourself up, come back to table, and take a few rounds of cat-cow. And then inhale, sweep the left arm up, and exhale, come underneath, reach over towards the right side of your space. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Just keep that movement. Maybe a 6 to 8 times, and then sliding the left hand over, coming to the side of your head. Maybe right arm goes straight out in front, or you rest your hand on your sacrum, fix your shirt while you're doing that, or you slide. Maybe you can get to the, I can't quite get a bind on this side because I'm right-handed, and my right shoulder doesn't have quite as much space. For 3, 2, 1, then release. Bring your hands back in front of you, come back to table. And now round through your back and bring your hips back towards your heels and come into child's pose. And if you have to be on your forearms or have a block underneath your head, whatever works for you, see if you can come into a full balasana. Some of us can stack on the knees. Sometimes it feels better to come all the way, separate the knees and come down to the floor that way. So just be curious in your body. Don't have to do what somebody else is doing. That somebody else being me, of course, not seeing each other. Great. And then we'll come pressing back up, come to standing on your knees and bring your right foot forward. So with the hands on to your front knee, you can come forward into a lunge. You can keep the back knee on the ground or turn the back toes under and press up. Okay, your choice. And then we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, release your hands around the front foot. And then draw your front hip back and come into a kind of a pyramid shape, either with the back leg lifted or the back knee on the floor. You choose. Picking up your front foot, draw your toes across your midline towards the other side of your body and continue to feel the opening in your hamstring. And straighten the foot back out, come back into the lunge. Everybody now lift your back leg if you're not already there. And then set your hips back till the front foot can peel free and you can come to downward facing dog. Take your feet as wide as the edge of your mat, maybe even off your mat. Bend through your knees. Reach your right hand to the outside of your left leg and re-straighten. Coming into a twist. Bend through your knees, right hand comes back. Take your left hand to the outside of your right leg and re-straighten. Release both hands to the floor. So pressing the thighs back. So the front of the thighs pressing back to the back of your space. The back of your space, good. And then you can heel toe the feet back together and inhale, come back down to table and then stand up on your knees. Readjust your shirt, your outfit. And then we'll bring the opposite foot forward for me. Now that's my left foot. And with the hands on the front of that knee, come into a lunge. You can stay with the back knee on the floor, or you can come into lifting the back knee, back leg. Right. Good. And then wherever you are, we'll draw the hips back and come into a pyramid shape. I don't have any blocks today, but so I can just kind of hang out here. Ooh, I can get into the pyramid, or I might just decide that my best option is back knee down. So once you're in that pyramid shape, pick the front toes up and take them across your midline. And you should feel this a little bit more in the outer hamstring. And then reorient that front foot, come forward, everybody come up onto, with the back leg lifted. So hands are on the floor, framing that front foot, and then we start to draw the hips back until the front foot releases and we can slide that foot out and come into downward facing dog. Great, then we'll walk the feet forward towards the hands, deep bend in the knees, bring hands to thighs, and press yourself up to standing. Press yourself up to standing, Tadasana. Take a few rounds of breath just to settle. And then inhale, sweep the arms up, that full movement with the hands. Exhale, allow your hands to just float through heart center. Do that a couple times. You know, your stance with your feet anywhere you want. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, release hands through heart center. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, release. Then we'll bring hands to hips and widen the stance. Okay. We'll slide the left hand down the left leg as we reach the right arm up and over. Then inhale, right arm comes up, left arm comes up. Exhale, release hands through heart center, hands rest on the hips. Slide the right hand down your right thigh as you reach up and over with the left hand. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, release hands through the heart center and resting on your hips or thereabouts, waist. Slide the left hand down the left leg and reach the right arm up and over. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale through heart center. Slide the right hand down, left arm up and over. Inhale, both arms up. And exhale, as you bend through your knees, now take a fold. Reaching your hands out in front and your hips back. So kind of like downward dog in the upper body as you reach the hips back. Draw the kneecaps up. Then walk your hands back, 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 back. Bend through your knees and come up into goddess. So the feet are angled out, the thighs are stacked, or the thighs are lined up in the same orientation as the feet. Can you draw your hips underneath you? And then we're have the hands at heart center here. Good, and we'll just pulse this a little bit. Moving back and forth, side to side. Inhale, sweep the arms up, legs come straight. Exhale, slide the hands back through heart center and open up the legs, goddess again. Tuck the hips underneath and pulse. And then inhale, sweep up. Exhale, release both hands to your sides and heel toe the feet in. Come back into Tadasana. I'm going to kind of get my mat out of the way here. Good. Taking a full round of breath or 2 rounds of breath. Close your eyes here. Stack your ears over your shoulders. So make the double chin. Knees pulled up, kneecaps pulled up, nice and strong. Great. And then release any intentional standing and just bounce your heels. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Open up the feet, maybe bouncing one foot at a time, back and forth. Bounce, 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 maybe. Let everything kind of shake loose. Bounce, bounce, bounce. So you're bouncing the heels. You're letting the arms bounce. You're letting the hands go. All right. See if you can get some good organic movement going. Good. Then come to some stillness. We'll find Vrikasana. So spreading toes wide. On the right foot, lift the left foot into place, either on the top of your foot or the calf or the inner thigh. For 3, 2, 1. Release. Bounce, 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 bounce the heels. Let the arms go. Let everything be soft. Maybe you want to do some shaking and vibrating. Really get it all, get it all, get it all. Come to stillness. Spread the toes wide on the left foot. Stacking right foot. Or bringing your right foot into your calf or your inner thigh. For 3, 2, 1, release. Okay, so walk around your space. Come back to your mat. Take a full vinyasa of your choice, which can just be and over and right to the floor, or you could do a full sun A, sun B, but somehow you're going to end up back down on the ground. And you're going to end up in the child's pose. End up in the child's pose on the floor. And have this be a full balasana. So have this be arms alongside your body in full balasana. Full balasana. Okay. And then you can take hands to the right. So stretching through the left side waist. And then hands to the left. And then back to center. And then you can stretch out here onto your belly. You could take Shavasana on your belly so that you're stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. So when we, the vagal nerve, which runs through the upper regions of the head and the throat and all that, and then comes into the belly. So that nerve is, when we stimulate that nerve by laying on our belly, we stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. So you could take Shavasana on your belly, or if you want, just roll over onto your back and do the more traditional Shavasana. So I would just note for my students coming regularly that on Thursday, we will be using wall space for our practice. I will leave you in Shavasana. Enjoy rest for as long as you need it. Namaste.